Good afternoon, all, and thank you for joining us for another Secret Sunday session today. Today, I'm joined by Nadia, and I'm very excited because we're going to be talking and debunking a lot of diet culture terms and getting into stories about body image and how it is affecting our youth, but not just our youth, but our women of the world that are also struggling with body image issues. It is a big issue, so it is going to be a great session today. But to kick us off, as always, Nadia, who are you and what is it that you are doing?
Okay, so I'm 41 years old. I'm a mum. Had my son when I was in my early 20s, which has been a big journey. And I started this platform, Instagram platform, probably 2 years ago, speaking about really a bit about everything, fashion, beauty, self love, body confidence. I didn't actually plan for it to, you know,
Mm.
go where it's actually gone. But yeah, it's really interesting and something that I absolutely love. I'm very passionate about, you know, women and, accepting themselves and, whatever that may be, however that may look for them, whether that be through clothes, beautiful fashion or, nourishing their body with incredible self-care, rituals and things like that. So, yeah.
Awesome. And so if we look at your Instagram platform, what is it that you were doing on there and what is it that you're sharing with your viewers?
So I am sharing a range of different things. So one of the things which I spoke about the other day was just me being me. Sometimes I'm getting up there, I'm in my underwear, I'm in my swimwear. And that's things that I've spoken about. Many years ago, I had such issues with, my body and I didn't swim. I didn't even put on a bathing suit. And then fast forward all these years, I'm on the internet in my underwear and in my swimsuit. So, really, I'm on there. I want to give other women permission to be themselves, accept themselves. And the fashion has been a huge thing, because I feel like a lot of women, once they, one of the things I asked this question the other day on my Instagram, what makes you feel confident? And the responses blew me away. But a lot of the things were, great clothing, having a great hairstyle, that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's really a extension of me. I love beauty and fashion and, sharing. So, really, that platform is just an extension of me and, yeah, my passions. And if that helps other women to accept themselves and love themselves in on the way, then that's what it's all about. I'm super happy about that.
Awesome. Yeah, it is. It's phenomenal what you're posting. And I even love liking, commenting, and seeing everything that you're sharing because it's phenomenal in an industry that's, I think, pushes a lot as well over the decades to look a certain way and to fit into a certain
Absolutely.
figure. It's so refreshing to see a page like yours. Did you find it hard at the start to push that messaging when you're fighting a fashion industry that is based on thin ideals?
Yeah, at first I was thinking, okay, like why am I even here? Originally I it was actually a friend that kind of encouraged me to get on that platform. It wasn't actually something that I had planned or, thought deeply about. Once I got on there and just started sharing, um, yeah, it just grew and grew and grew and grew. And so I personally, growing up, I had developed quite early and I didn't see other women that I could relate to. So I love when I see other women that aren't just the ideal. Not that there's anything wrong with women of whatever size they are, but let's face it, in the marketing fashion industry, we've got a type of woman. And so I'm not that ideal type of woman, but I know that many women can relate to that because majority of women do not look like they do on their runway because or on these magazines because they've been altered, they've been digitally enhanced. So yeah.
Wow. If we look at, you talked and touched a little bit on, you went through some body image issues when you were younger. Can you
Mm,
explain a little bit what were they and
mm.
how did they come about?
So they started probably young, it's probably young back then, but now I know from statistics that we're seeing younger and younger. So for me, it was definitely when I started high school. I was developed quite early on. So by the time I, started year 7, I didn't look like any of the other girls. I had really long hair, I had hips, I had boobs. And so that in itself, that's probably where all of my issues kind of started. I also, started changing as our bodies do. And that, I guess for me, I did get a lot of male attention because I looked so much older. So then that caused a lot of issues with the females at school because then they were very jealous. So then this kind of started this whole issue about the way that I looked. Also started to put on weight and change as your body does. And because I didn't look like, a lot of the other girls, I started to become really insecure about the way that I looked.
Mm,
And so, yeah, it kind of started then, 13, and went throughout my life. I had, obviously, your body changes significantly with the seasons, having a baby, all of those different things, becoming a woman, your body just changes. So I had been super slim in my life, and then I've been curvier. So I've been everything in between as well. So yeah, it's been a lifelong battle, I would say, with body image issues. I don't think there's not a time, I don't think that's ever really disappears for a woman. I think that's something that just comes up, and yeah, I think it's natural. But when it kind of, overtakes your whole mental thought, which one of the other questions that I asked the other day was, um, oh gosh, what was it? It was about, what was it? Um, Something about, wasn't weighing yourself, but do you kind of obsess over, your weight? Every single woman said yes. Every day, every minute of the day, always, sometimes. Um, so yeah, these are women on my platform that aren't in their 20s,
mm.
they're 45 plus. So I think, yeah, it's something that is just huge for us women.
Did you find in your journey that you ever took unhealthy measures to be able to change it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I spoke about this in a video I recorded for my platform the other day as well. And I shared that I had been on every diet. I've been on the diet of not eating. I've been on the diet of sticking my fingers down my throat, all sorts of things to fit into this ideal of what you think you are supposed to look like. So, yeah, I've definitely taken unhealthy measures. I mean, things are a lot differently now. I'm 41 and I've just accepted this. It is what it is. But definitely in my 20s, yeah, more than ever. I mean, I didn't even wear a swimsuit or would go swimming because I didn't want my body exposed. I didn't even go swimming with my son when he was little. I was that mum that kind of sat out, in her clothes and would make excuses because I felt insecure about the way I looked.
It's so sad.
So
Really
it
sad.
is so sad. And so that's something that I love speaking about, on this platform too, because I'm like, you know what? Wear the swimsuit.
Mm,
Be at the beach. Like, no one is looking at you. They are too busy worried about their own insecurities.
mm,
This is all precious moments that I missed out on in life because of my own mental hang-ups about myself.
mm. In your opinion, how did you get over it? You talk about now you're able to embrace your body and love it. How did you get
Yeah.
to that stage?
Well, for me, it's been a spiritual journey. I feel like you have to really heal and overcome these things. You have to go inwards. When we look outside, everything is, the media, you're only worthy if you look like this. You need this in order to be beautiful. But to really, actually feel that acceptance, it's about the self-love and doing that inner work.
Mm.
And that's been a journey for me in itself, and something that I don't always get it right. I don't always feel amazing about myself. But when I, you know, do those certain practices, that helps with just the acceptance of your body. I mean, does my body look like it did 10 years ago? No, it doesn't. But I just accept it is what it is. My body's been through a lot. I've had a baby, other stresses and emotional things that have gone on in life. Your body is amazing, what it puts up with and what it deals with. It's incredible. So, yeah, for me, it's been a real self-love journey. That's really how I've come to really accept who I am as a person. But this is just the outside, you know?
It really
And
is.
we worry so much about that. It's huge.
Yeah. How do we shut out the external? Because the external, like the media,
Oh,
like the magazines, they
wow.
influx you 24/7, like
20.
24 hours a day now. So
Yeah.
you can't escape it. And a lot of people don't know how to escape it because they also don't want to miss out on what is going on in the external. So
Mhm.
how do we manage that so that we can best turn up for ourselves and look after ourselves?
I think it's balance. I think you need to balance it. For me personally, I don't watch television. So that's one type of media that is removed out of my life. I do not watch any television. But I am on my phone a lot for obviously, my page. It's about balance, spend time in nature, spend time with loved ones. Don't always let that be the focus of your day, setting rituals, doing things that actually make you happy and light up your life. I mean, really, I also try to remember like, this is not real life. This is my life right here, right now, in this moment. So yeah, it is hard though. It is everywhere, even children, it is rammed down their necks. Social media, the internet, it from the minute they're born, just about, it's everywhere. It's noisy,
Yeah.
So for me, it is definitely limiting those things like spending time in nature, meditating, just doing things that are actually don't revolve around that constant noise, basically.
And what do you do in terms? I know I grew up in my journey as well, and I hear a lot of young girls as well
Mm,
experiencing this. But when you're in a work environment or you have family members that are talking about dieting, and it's, I'm
mm,
trying this new trend, or the keto diet just came out, or I'm cutting out carbs now, or I want to get fit and toned, we're constantly influxed with this conversation to change the way that we look by eating or exercising. Now, I find it very frustrating being in the industry that I'm in, really pushing for well-being, um,
mhm,
and always hearing these stories. How do you move past that, and how does a
mm.
young person get past that messaging and going, hang on, that's not right, I shouldn't be listening to that?
Yeah, I think it's, oh gosh, more, I feel like now more than ever, it's just, you can't get away from that. It is so, even with my own experience, like I've tried every one of those paleos, ketos, like you name it. I've done all those flipping diets. I feel like if you can really tune into your body and work out what you can eat. So for me, I can't eat gluten. That's something that I cut out many years ago. So I'm not labeling myself like I'm this or that, because I even tried vegan and all these sorts of things, which didn't actually work for my body. A lot of those things didn't actually work for me. I feel like if you intuitively eat, not worry about a diet or labeling a diet, and eat what works for you and your body without kind of going there. And yeah, it's so hard, especially for these young ones. Like Instagram is just full of that.
Yeah.
like the diets, the exercise programs, buy my program. It's everywhere. It's literally shoved down your neck.
Mm.
It is
And I
so
even remember, sorry to interrupt, but
oh,
going through high school and primary school and being educated on what to eat and what not to eat, and
yeah,
what foods are good and what foods are bad. You don't realize that effect that that is having on young people. They tune
major.
in, they're influenced by that, and then they grow up. If they're vulnerable, they're looking for ways to cope or looking for ways to change their body, restricting
Mhm.
eating at in grade 7 or in grade 6,
Totally.
and
The
that.
grapefruit diet, like that's what we were doing, like crazy grapefruit diet, only eat this. Like honestly, it was just so ridiculous. It really was. I mean, I've made a very conscious decision, even just the fact that I have a son, which is no different because boys too have eating disorders. I have never ever spoken like, oh, I'm so fat, mummy's on a diet. I can't, I've made the most conscious decision to never speak like that in front of my son, right from a small, young age, because that's where it kind of starts. That was like that for me as well. I had significant people in my life that would comment on my weight. And that's those words, they stick with you. They stick with you in your mind. And and I still hear those words today, but I know that it's not about my weight, and it never has been.
Mm,
That's not what's important. I mean, it's really about how you feel within yourself
mm,
and having a healthy relationship with food.
mm,
Like for me, really, one of my greatest passions and loves in life is dining out. I love the whole experience. I love that it brings people together and you're sharing in gorgeous, gourmet, divine food. I mean, really, it's one of the greatest joys in life.
It is. It's always, it's funny though, because when we even talk about, external influences, when you're a child, you do not care and you do not think about any of this stuff. Then
You
you reach
don't.
a certain age, as you said, where it's high school or it's even becoming younger now, where
Mhm,
something external affects the way that you see yourself, and then
mhm.
everything changes. And it's,
Everything
I
changes.
find it incredible that when you're a child and you're in that headspace where you do not care, and then someone says something, or you scroll through something on Instagram or Facebook,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden you turn to your body and think that you're not enough. But it just proves
Absolutely.
how external it is, how external body image issues are, that it's
Oh,
never you.
it is. It 100% is. I remember buying my first Dolly magazine and totally obsessing over that, like, and looking at all of them. I remember constantly reading, the 14-day diet, this exercise program. I mean, back in the day when I was a teenager, we had, Oz style aerobics. I had the Elle McPherson, workout video. And I used to obsess over that and do that video like, oh my God, I want to look like her, and be totally obsessed with that. I mean, it's so external, and I do not know how young ones can get away from that.
Mm.
I
I find it,
think,
yeah, so you go.
yeah, I think if that's why it's so important, as parents and that we are instilling that self-confidence and that self-esteem from really, really young ages,
Mm. Oh, for
you
sure.
know, rather than, oh, even the way we speak, like, oh, it's such a chubby baby. Or it's the language in what we use.
Mm.
People feel like they have the right to comment on someone else's weight,
Mm.
and just the language that, yeah, it blows my mind.
Mm. I find it very interesting as well, as you said, being on your platform, how a lot of older women as well are finding they are affected by a body image. Why do you think,
Majorly.
why do you think that is? Because we're so focused on the young, but why do
Oh,
you think
I
that older
know.
women
I feel like a lot of the time now that we compare ourselves to other women, especially in the social media, like one of the other questions that I asked, I think I wrote it down here somewhere, was I think I asked, did they yeah, for look towards other women on social media, um, you know, to get, what they look like basically. And so many women, said yes. But the whole thing of like women of that age, I do not know why they are still in that kind of mindset, because it is a mindset. It's a mindset of like, we're not good enough, and comparing ourselves to other women. She looks like that. She's got 4 kids and, she looks amazing.
Mm.
I think that whole just comparison and that not just that self-love and doing that work. I mean, it's an inner job, that real self-acceptance. It is definitely an, inside job,
Yeah.
and not this outside where we're looking for that external validation.
Mm. For sure.
Yeah, it kind of it blows my mind really how women are still. I mean, I'm 41. I feel like I'm still learning. I'm still getting there in the whole, self-acceptance, and it's daily work.
Do you find that you still have bad or poor body image days?
Definitely. Most definitely. If something, especially of late, given of what's, gone on for me personally, I hadn't made the best choices because I didn't feel like, putting the effort into my meal preparation. So we'd been dining out more than usual. And, it's when you put on something and that feels a little firmer. Usually it's jeans.
Yeah.
That's a good reminder to maybe stop dining out and eating cake.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, most definitely I do. But I always try to just bring it back to the reality of it is what it is. Bodies are always changing. What's been going on lately, it's okay. Telling myself that it's okay. This is just how it is right now. And when you get back into your normal routine, you know, things will feel differently.
Yeah. Why do you
Mm.
think women always turn back to their bodies and that their bodies are not enough? I find there's so many things we could turn to, so many things that we could become negative towards, but we always go back to the body. Why do you think?
I know. It's just the body, honestly. I feel like because that's what everyone sees. They don't see the inside, what's going on for you on the inside. Someone may have lost an extreme amount of weight, and everyone's congratulating that person. But what you don't know is that person's just lost a loved one, or they're dealing with something. It's what everybody sees, and so women, I feel like, I mean, it's a tricky question and it's complex.
Mm. Yeah.
But yeah, this is how everyone perceives us, whether you like it or not. I guess we are really judged on what we look like,
Yeah.
and how the world sees us. So yeah, I feel like it's very complex.
I feel like, yeah, I totally agree, but I feel as well it's become our identity. As a woman, you are defined about how you look and the way that you portray
Yep.
yourself externally. I mean, perfect example is the magazines and models,
Totally.
because you don't generally see a male, I guess, be portrayed in the same circumstances as a woman does in terms of her body and the way that her body should look. I find
Mhm.
it's probably increased more now for men because of the whole gym junkie sort of
Oh,
environment that is coming
absolutely.
out now, for men especially. But women, we always come back to just the way that we portray ourselves, and I find it's that comparison thing again, and
It
just
is.
feeling like we've got to fit this mold. And
Mhm.
society's made us feel like we've got to fit this mold, and if we don't, we're not enough.
Yeah, totally. And you ask most women, like, they feel like they're not enough. That is really, the deeper cause of what goes on for people is they feel like they are not enough. They're not worthy. They don't deserve, to feel that way or look that way. It's so deep. It really is so deep. And it's so ingrained, in our psyche, it is just, oh, it honestly just blows my mind.
I heard this one the other day from a young girl, even very young, and she said, "If my body doesn't look a certain way, I'm not desirable." And for me, it kind of ticked over, and I was like, "Desirable?" And I was like, "To a man." She didn't feel like she could be loved by a man because if
Mhm.
she didn't look a certain way. And then I started reflecting, and I'm like, it's kind of so true because
It
going back
is.
to my environment and my journey as well, I always wanted to feel desired, or you want to feel wanted and loved. And
Mhm.
whether it is by a man or a family member or friends, comes back to your body is supposed to be that thing that attracts that person. And when you feel it's
Totally.
not, then you feel like you're not good enough. And it was incredible because she put it like she was 11 years old and I couldn't believe it.
11 years old.
Yes.
That just, there's a part of me that there is just so much deep sadness in my soul to think we miss out on so much joy in life because we give so much energy to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how sad at 11 years of age that that's even on her radar. I mean, at 11 years of age, that was not on my radar. I was having fun and being a child, which is what you should be doing. But now they're worried about if they're desired or if they're good enough or if they're loved.
Mm. Oh,
It's so sad.
it is. It's horrible, and to even think, because you started referring to rom-coms and watching like Netflix movies, and it's so true. You watch these movies or these TV shows, and even the young or the teenagers on those shows that are portrayed a certain way or look a certain way,
Mhm.
and they're loved, or that they get the man because they. You reflect back on the way that they're looked, and you think, well, I want to be desired like that, so I've got to look like that. It's
Yeah,
horrible.
it's horrible. And I feel like the media and also a lot of these, fashion labels, they're driving this issue. They are the ones that are driving this. I mean, even just the fashion week, you do not see women that are like me representing other women on media, on TV. You don't see that. I mean, look at, I don't like to say names, but look at Rebel Wilson. She was a type of woman, but now she looks like a certain way. And now she's getting all these major roles.
Mm.
You are constantly judged on what you look like. But these media, they are driving this issue. They have a responsibility.
Oh, they do for sure. And that's the thing. The messaging is not filtered. So it's not just going to someone with a well established brain that knows how to process this information. It's
Mhm,
going to an 11-year-old that has no idea what they're viewing, but they see a
mhm,
certain thing. They see that person being praised for losing weight or going on this diet. And so
mhm.
by all means, they're like, well, that person's loved for doing that. I'm going to follow that path.
Totally. And that's what happens with all these young ones. They are looking outside externally. Even my own 16-year-old, he's constantly on YouTube, and that's what they're not coming to the parents anymore. This is all an external thing. So what, like, how are we as parents supposed to compete with that? And share that that's actually not what everybody looks like, and that's okay.
Yeah. Are you concerned for your son and the environment that he's now entering into?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
I was really strict when he was little. I didn't allow him even to watch TV, until he was over 2. Everything was very filtered, what I allowed for him to be exposed to. But now at 16, they're exposed to everything.
Yeah.
They know everything. They will just YouTube it. They'll look on the internet if they want to know something, even speaking about, just all sorts of things, body image issues, their sexuality, that they'll just go and source that externally.
Mm. I love
They
the
don't
ones.
come to you.
I love even the ones with my brother that he comes in and he's like, so I'm diagnosed with this.
Yes,
You guys know. And I'm like, where did you get that from? He's like, oh, some guy on YouTube just told me that, I had all these
yes.
things. And I'm like, what the hell?
That was my son today. We went to the doctor and he's got this mole here and he wants to have it removed because of aesthetic reasons. Even I can see him obsessing over certain things. And the doctor said, um, no, we couldn't freeze that. That will have to be done at a cosmetic clinic. And then we got in the car and he's like, no, you can freeze it. I said, no, the doctor said you can't. And he's like, well, on YouTube, they said you can. And I was like, well, that was just an actual, a general practitioner. I think she knows more than YouTube. But, even my own son, he's has this particular hairline and his hairline comes down quite low. And he's so majorly insecure about that hairline and the type of haircut he has. He wants it lasered. He wants this mole removed because for aesthetic reasons.
Mm.
So he wants that. He's got a scar on his leg. He wants that to be lasered for aesthetic reasons. He's 16. So these things, I'm like, you were born with that hairline.
Mm.
That is your actual hairline.
Yeah.
This mole, this is a part of your face. This is, you know, we get it checked. It's safe. It's okay.
Mm.
Um, but this is all aesthetic, you know?
Yeah, it's so sad as well because as you said, you've brought him up to love and embrace who he is, and that is pure evidence of how external sources can influence the way that you feel about yourself. Because obviously you
Absolutely.
couldn't have brought him up any better than you did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just I feel like it's a losing battle when they get to a certain age. That's why I feel like as parents, if you can have that control over, these phones, these devices for as long as you possibly can to keep their mind innocent,
Mm.
if that's possible. I mean, it's so hard because then they're comparing themselves to other kids and they feel left out because they don't have a phone or they don't have access to,
Yeah, for sure.
all this media. It's so damaging.
It really is. I want to touch a little bit on. We're
Mm.
talking a little bit about the modeling industry and the fashion industry. What's your thoughts on the whole plus size model influence that's coming in now? Do you think it's a positive thing, or do you think it's still a bit negative and they're not doing it justice?
Um, I love that we're seeing a diversity,
Mm.
not just with sizes, but obviously of race and also ability.
Mm.
I've seen a lot of brands now that are just sharing real diversity across their, whole brand. I absolutely love that. I think it is incredible that everyone can feel it's inclusive.
Yeah.
I love that. I also feel like we've got a long way to go, a really long way to go. Even with a lot of brands, they're saying they're size inclusive, but they might just go to an 18 or a 20.
Mm.
That's not full, size inclusive.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like I like the fact that we are seeing, I also have friends that are models and that they are curvier girls and that they are on billboards. They are hanging in the windows now at these stores. And we're not just seeing this particular type of woman. Also, that is going, these brands, I feel like they've been slow to the party.
Mm.
I feel like if you want to, from a marketing perspective, sell more of your products, then you need to appeal to a wider audience.
Yeah.
And so I know even for me and a lot of women on my platform, they love it. They love seeing all of these, different sized women in the media.
Mm.
It's definitely, yeah, we've got a long way to go. I feel like even our vertical brands, like your Country Road, your Witchery, or Seed, all of these brands, they still only go to a size 16. So I feel like the message is also behind a lot of these brands. I mean, some brands even go to just a size 12. Their message is loud and clear. They don't want you wearing their garments if you're over a certain size. So I feel like even the fact now that, a lot of these brands, vertical brands, there's some new ones coming on the scene, but it's still called plus size, curve range. You're still, I'm not going to say the word discriminating, but that people don't feel included, because you're over here, like you're still a plus size. I feel like that in itself can be damaging. I know that there's a vertical brand, there's probably a few at the moment, but the Curve range isn't available in store. It's only available online. Now, that message is loud and clear as well.
Very loud.
Basically, we don't want you shopping in our store. We don't have the space for you in our store. Now, if you're a curvy woman, more than not, you need to try the garments on.
Mm.
That's not available to you. There's a new range, that's a new brand that's come out, which is in David Jones, across Australia, and they are from Seed Heritage, but they are going right up, I think, to a size 22 or a 24. The cuts and styles, the way that they've been designed is just incredible. And I feel like this is where a lot of the change will happen. These brands have a responsibility to, offering these garments that are available to not just a particular type of woman.
Oh.
So, yeah, I feel like it's got a long way to go.
Yeah, it's incredible hearing that. I haven't heard that before. Like, I think I hear what the media shares in terms of, we're being inclusive, we're involving the plus size category, which I hate in itself that we're putting women into category. That's what they're but yeah, I did not know about the sizes, that they still only go to a 16, 18, or even some 12. Like, that's ridiculous.
And a lot of brands are still like that, especially the high-end brands.
Yeah.
I feel like once you get past a certain size, they offer a certain type of fashion. And it's like, just because you might be bigger, you don't want to look like that. You still want to feel amazing in your own skin and what you're wearing. You don't want to wear these baggy, oversized clothes. But that's why I love a lot of the brands that I showcase, because these women are creating beautiful garments that can be worn by everyone.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So that's why I'm passionate about not only like sharing beautiful clothes, but sharing the fact that you can look and feel amazing no matter what your shape and size.
Oh, phenomenal. I love that message. I really do. And I feel like it needs to be pushed so much more, especially in the generation that we are in today. Finally, do you want to give us little tips or anything? I'll go through a few different scenarios, a few different people, but just your advice for that person. If we look at young people first, for example, if they were constantly looking in the mirror, constantly feeling conscious about what they see in the mirror, what body positive message would you be able to share to them?
So something that someone gave to me when I was quite young was actually my beauty therapy teacher. And it is a book by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. In that book, she really speaks quite deeply on mirror work, which I think has been one of the most, it's just been one of the most amazing tools for me. I mean, a lot of people will look at themselves and they'll hate themselves and they'll loathe what they see in the mirror. But if you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you tell yourself, I love you, you are amazing, you are worthy, what we give energy to, we'll start to create that. So maybe in the beginning that feels uncomfortable for you, and that's awkward and you don't like that. The more you keep doing those things, you will start to believe that. When we change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So it's all about perspective, and what we give our energy to. So that's definitely one thing. I mean, I've been in and out of therapy all of my life at different points, in my life. Finding an amazing counselor or life coach or therapist, it can be life-changing. It really can be. And I feel like, let's normalize that as well. Let's normalize the fact that I know at times we probably live in an unnormal world. I don't really like the word normal, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 for sure. Great messaging there, especially with the mirror work. It's definitely something I think we all need to work on. What about an older woman, a lady that may be experiencing the same body conscious issues or is afraid to even go out and wear that bikini or be, in her swimmers with her children and experiencing a beautiful summer? What would your
Mm.
message be to a woman of that kind?
Have that as well. I've got quite a few women on my platform that are like that, and some that will message me saying, I wish that I could believe that. I share a lot of quotes on there, especially about body positivity. And a lot of them are like, they can't say one good thing about themselves. I say, go and find a swimsuit that is the right cut for you. Invest in finding one that is, you know, you might need to spend the time going swimsuit shopping and find one that you feel comfortable in. But do not miss out on those special moments. Whack on a bit of fake tan if you need to. That's something for me that I had always gone to, fake tan. That's just made me feel more confident in exposing my body. And just do those little things. Find yourself a beautiful wrap or a gorgeous caftan, a beautiful hat, something that you can feel comfortable and confident in, so you're not missing out. These moments, we will never get them back. They'll never come back. Your kids will be growing up and you would have wished that you spent the summer playing with them on the sand, digging the sand castles, laughing, having fun with them. At the end of the day, that's what's most important, is being in that moment. No one else will be worried about what you look like because everyone else is worried about themselves. No matter what they look like, everyone is too busy worrying about their own self and their own body and their own body hang-ups. They're not worried about you enjoying yourself with your children, you know?
I came to that realization a while back going, oh my God, like once you realize this, that no one actually cares about you, they are so
No,
invested in themselves, your whole
they
life
are.
changes because you can wear whatever you want. You could probably
Yeah,
walk down the street naked and people probably would turn their heads. Probably would, but still, they would just, people are so invested in their own environments that they do
they
not care
are.
about you.
No, they don't. I mean, it wasn't until one day we were going to Wet and Wild with my son. I can't remember how old he was. And, I was really self-conscious and not wanting to put my swimmers on. And my husband looked at me and he said to me, Nadia, look around. Do you think any of those people here actually care? Do you think any of these people here are worried about what they look like? I mean, there was such a diverse array of people there. And I was like, true. Totally true. I mean, and everyone's enjoying themselves and having fun.
Yeah.
But I always sat on the sideline watching, always.
What would you
You
say to
know?
that little girl or that younger self that was
Oh,
vulnerable and
like, embrace what you've got. Put the swimsuit on, get out there. Like, there's nothing better than being at the beach. We love the beach as a family. I love the beach, but I hated it because of that whole, you know,
yeah,
I would just be honestly like, girlfriend, embrace it. Embrace this moment in time. You are not going to get it back. Now, I'm probably the biggest, heaviest, however you want to say that I've ever been. And I get on that beach and rock on my bikini. And I just, I would have covered up everything before. I would have had board shorts on so you didn't see my, thick thighs. I would have had, or a caftan on,
yeah.
the whole thing. Now I'm literally walking
Can't
up and
keep it
down
on.
the beach. Yeah, like in my bikini, I would never have worn a bikini.
That's so awesome. So that is such an important message, especially this summer. And also living in Australia, we get amazing summers here, and there's so much to do here. And it's sad that a lot of us do sit on the sidelines. But if you can this summer, get out, wear that bikini, or wear that one piece that you just feel comfortable in. Whatever is your confidence,
Totally.
find it and you do it. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, as you said, nobody cares about what you're wearing, or no one cares about what your body shape is, because they're so focused on their own. So get out there,
And
try it,
really,
your own.
yes, like I actually look at women's bodies all the time. Like more than I look at men's. I think women's bodies are so beautiful, all the different curves and just everything. I'm just like, oh my God, like you look beautiful. I wish sometimes a woman could see how beautiful, she is.
Mm, yeah. Oh, I
You
think
know,
it's one of my biggest wishes as well, just for every woman or even men as well that are now going through these issues, to
totally.
see how other people see them. Because most of the time, you go to the beach and you think that you're not desired, you think that you're not wanted, but there's someone on that beach that actually wants your body. And you can't.
Absolutely.
So I wish people could see their body through other people's eyes, because people don't think that you're fat. People don't think that you're overweight. People don't
True.
not like what you see. It's all up here and people don't see that.
Yeah. It is all up here. It is such a mental game. Like, if you listen to stopped and listen to the dialogue in your head and what goes on, and you could step back from that and look at and think, that is just absurd thinking. Like, why am I thinking like that? Like, my body is amazing.
Mhm.
I had an injury 3 years ago now, and I actually couldn't walk for 3 months. I had knee surgery and I was hopping on one leg. And I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that I was kind of like, I was broken mentally, but I was also broken physically. And I just felt like a broken little bird. But once I, wallowed in my own self pity for a moment, and then I came out the other side, I just realized it was actually one of the biggest blessings, really, that ever happened to me. And I probably wouldn't have started this page or platform had that have never happened to me. Um, but it really made me look at my body differently. It really made me look at, you know, just the healing and how grateful I was when I was able to walk on two legs, and not hop around on one.
Mm. Yeah. It is.
It just really changed my whole perspective of my body.
And it's amazing how so many people actually have similar experiences, or experiences where their body has a deficiency in some way, and then they realize how amazing it is. It's why a lot of women, I think, as well, once they give birth, they have this new appreciation for their body. But we should
Totally.
have to get to that point. That's, I think, what it's a really strong message as well, is that you can embrace and love your body now. You don't have to wait until something's stripped from you. You just have to find that and do that internal work first, and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is, it can be complex if I think you need to break it down, and working out, I guess, with that whole, healing and, that can take time, to really get there. But if you devote, those certain practices to your life every single day, practice forgiveness, on yourself, set boundaries, in your life, say yes to things that you perhaps would never say yes to, and say no to things that don't actually align with you. I think it's so important to know who you are and what your beliefs and values are. And if you focus on those and worry about those more than what other people's perceptions of you are, that's where the real growth and healing actually happens.
Totally does. This has been a phenomenal session, a very passionate one from both of us. I think we could talk for hours. Um, but I want to say I'm big on thank yous, but especially a big thank you to you for coming on today and sharing your story and sharing your insight. We're both very passionate in this space, and it's amazing what you are doing. And I just want to thank you, behalf of the community and behalf of the world. Thank you for all that you're pushing and all that you're trying to change in this space, because we need more people like you, and what you are pushing is just phenomenal. And I'm very grateful that we aligned and that we're able to share your story. But yeah, just please keep doing what you're doing, and please keep supporting and being there for women, because as I said, this messaging needs to be pushed.
It does. And there's many more women out there that, are sharing the same message, which is amazing, it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's phenomenal.
Thank you so much for having me on here and chatting about this topic. It's great. It's really
No,
awesome.
it
And
is.
good on you.
Oh, thank you. And it's phenomenal to have these conversations, and that we can share these conversations so that we can, fingers crossed, make change in one or many people's lives. But yeah, once again, greatly appreciated. And thank you, everyone out there, for joining us for another Secret Sunday session. Where can we find Nadia? Where are you active, and where can people follow you? And
so, yeah, I'm active mainly on Instagram, Miss Nadia Loves.
Beautiful.
And yeah, there's a Facebook there too, but mainly I'm very active on Instagram.
Yeah, and you should definitely give Nadia a follow, because I love all your videos and your fashion stories. They are phenomenal. Definitely some of the highlights of my day. So I really appreciate all that you do. And everyone out there, have an amazing Sunday afternoon. I will catch you again in another 2 weeks. But for now, goodbye, and we'll see you all soon.